So, well, actually, first off, hello. Hey, how you doing? So apparently, Monster Hunter Wilds is well, kind of weird, kind of launching pretty poorly, and obviously we're gonna get into this video about a couple of things that I've seen on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I feel like is the real reason because a lot of people are saying it's poor performance, the multiplayer doesn't work, yada 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 yada, all that good stuff. For instance, this person. I was gonna buy Monster Hunter Wilds, but after seeing how awful it looks and the performance is poor, I'm going to pass. Makes sense. I was thinking about getting into the game my damn self, but this is also what I keep seeing, so it's like I don't know if I should. Also, as someone who's actually never played a Monster Hunter game, I don't know if it would be worth getting into this one. But I guess there's that. But you can have your opinion, but also wanted to buy Monster Hunter Wilds day one, but since it's unoptimized garbage, I'll wait till it's patched and discounted. Not gonna beta test your AAA games, Capcom. And that's another thing that people have been saying for other AAA games. So this isn't just like a Capcom thing. This isn't just a Monster Hunter Wild thing. We all know this. We all know this. That like no one wants to do that, but I just found it kind of interesting that this is also still a thing, and it's even for companies that you wouldn't assume would come out with terrible products. From what I heard, and from the people that I know that play, they're telling me that all the other games came out pretty fine. So, and to have it like this, oh, that's super unfortunate. Let's look at this other one. Hate to do this because I really missed the series, but didn't buy Monster Hunter Wilds. It's not so bad. It's almost impossible to play. It's so bad. I said that so wrong. It's so bad. It's almost impossible to play with your friends. There are bugs left and right. Huge step backward from for the series. Capcom USA, y'all really screwed up on this one. So this seems to be like the general trend, at least on X, that I'm saying. But also, what I've noticed is that if I can find it, I will put it in the Steam DB thing for it. Apparently has what is it? Wasn't it like a million something like that? Let me see if I could pull that up real quick for you here. Yeah, yeah. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So like, it seems like it's doing pretty well. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now I don't know if this is because, and it's probably a culmination now that I'm thinking about it. It's probably gonna be a culmination of the game hasn't had a new entry in a while, from what I've been told, if I'm remembering correctly. It's a new game. Everyone likes new games. Had to burp, sorry. And well, a lot of some games that come out weren't well. Some of the games that came out recently weren't all that great, like Avowed. So I feel like people really want good games. So unfortunately, this is well how it launched is going to affect its all time. Well, how people remember it for the rest of time. Let's leave it at that. Now, whether they patch it and then just like send it out and like well, it wouldn't be a day one patch, but you know what I mean. But if they do that, or well, they already have people playing it. They're not going to tell people to stop playing it and then like redo it and then re-release it. That'd be kind of ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised, but weirder things have happened. But despite it having this, despite it coming out with this many players playing, this all-time peak 4 hours. That was 4 hours ago. Wow, wow. Yeah, people really liking this game. Yeah, but despite having that, it's optimized so poorly for people on PC. I don't know necessarily about console, but I thought that was interesting. But then before we get into this video, I did want to take a look at where was this last one? This. Uh, so I don't know about any of this. Body type A and B, ugly brown NPCs everywhere. One of the worst optimized games of all time. Everything is dumbed down and automated from previous games. Capcom's for modern audiences localization. Capcom using shrooms and put shrooms to market, but a safe horny slider is enough to lower the bar. So I guess I don't know. This isn't very. I mean, it has nothing to do with the gameplay. I just thought that was interesting. And another one that I just found that I thought was kind of funny. Excited for Monster Hunter Wilds coming up in 4 days? Well, you might want to rethink that hype. Here's why Monster Hunter series may be inherently fascist. Bro, it's a game about killing monsters. From my understanding, it's a game about You find a monster, or someone tells you about a monster, you kill it, and you can break down individual parts of its body or something like that to make it easier to kill. It'll try to run off, you'll find it, you'll kill it, and then you can make a hat out of it. Maybe it's not specifically a hat, but hat. So I don't know what about that is fascist, but whatever. It's interesting because it's like, thread, but the rage bait, I'm assuming, right? Am I looking at this wrong? Is this not rage bait? Anyway, we're gonna get into the video.
How's it going, everybody? Mr.
How's it
Hunter
going?
here, and the launch for Monster Hunter Wilds has been absolutely wild, as the
But
game has seen tremendous success only on Steam. Now, I don't know the exact numbers for console, but I'd wager it's pretty much in the same category here as the numbers are on Steam. Unfortunately, though, the launch has had its own share of problems we'll be getting into in just a short moment. But first of all, by taking a look at SteamDB, we can see that Monster Hunter Wilds reached a peak record now of 987,000.
And at the time of recording, I just showed you guys, it was a little higher than that. So
482 people playing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is roughly twice or, well, 3 times as many players who played Monster Hunter World at its peak. As you can see here, at its peak, Monster Hunter World had 334,684 players, which is really, really impressive. And people have...
It's still Martin Concord.
Have steadily been playing Monster Hunter World, especially on Steam, of course across console as well, but it's always had impressive numbers in the PC market. But you may have noticed here on the screen that it says the review scores are pretty low. So right now it's almost at 40%. It was actually lower before when I saw this update. It was around maybe 32, 33%. It is pretty low right now, and there are
Hold on just a second, my good man. Can I see that? What does it look like as I'm recording? What it is? Oh, it's okay. Well, okay. See, because shit. Where was it? What was I looking at? 39. Oh yeah, it's like 48 now. Okay, I feel like it's just because more and more people are buying it. So
33%. It is pretty low right now, and there are some pretty good reasons for this. And after having read through a lot of the reviews over on Steam, it would seem that most of these bad or negative reviews are because of the...
This game is absolutely amazing, but the worst optimization I've ever seen. I understand new games are becoming more demanding and more people are expecting to upgrade, fair enough, but this is absurd. Damn. I'm aware that this isn't the first instance of new game having poor performance at launch, of course, because the same thing happened with World. Did it? Okay, I wasn't really paying attention to it at that time, but this feels unexcusable at this point. I am by no means saying the game is bad, but in this current state, you should probably consider waiting for a more stable release. See, that's what I was thinking too. At this point, I was gonna buy it day one myself, and I'm kind of glad I didn't buy it day one myself. Granted, I'm also moving, but still.
Bad performance that Monster Hunter Wilds has. Now, I want to mention that I still stand by my opinion that this is a great game. I'm absolutely loving my time playing it. But as I mentioned in my own review, the performance is just not there. And for someone who has a pretty beefy rig, as in I have a 4090 GPU, 7950X3D CPU, 64 gigs of RAM, and a very fast SSD, so I should have no trouble playing the game. Unfortunately, the frame rate is not all that well most of the time. I have to use...
Jesus Christ, I gotta swallow some fucking water, bro. I'm like a pretty casual gamer. Anything over 60 is fine with me, so I don't... I mean, I guess different strokes for different folks, I suppose, but if that is what you're getting with a 46, what the fuck did he say? Shit, I should have been picked. With a 4090, that's what he's getting on a 4090. Jeez, what the fuck am I gonna get on a 3060? I don't think I'm looking for. I'm drinking some more. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking forward to that or not, or if I should be. I wonder how long it'll take for them to fix this.
frame generation if I want to run the game smoothly. And that's, again, something that I've brought up numerous times, not only during the beta, but in the full game as well that I recently played through. Now, some of these reviews are obviously pretty heavy-handed, as is usually the case whenever releases like this happen, where it's not perfect. But we have one review here from Coda saying this game is absolutely amazing, but has the worst optimization I've ever seen. Not really sure if I would agree with that. I think Dragon's Dogma 2 was actually worse.
I was about to say Dragon's Dogma 2 was worse, and then I would say Cyberpunk 2077 was also worse. Had to have been worse, right? It can't be that bad, right?
Understand that new games are becoming more demanding and people are expected to upgrade, but this is absurd. I'm aware that this isn't the first instance of new games having poor performance on launch, because the same thing happened with World, but it feels inexcusable at this point. I am by no means saying the game is bad, but in its current state, you should probably consider waiting for a more stable release. Now, I was personally expecting the game to get dragged on release because of the performance issues, but not to this extent. It was actually pretty surprising seeing all the difficulties people are having, you know, starting up the game, crashing, or having really, really bad frame rates and stuff like that. It's really unfortunate because the game itself, I think, is really, really good. If you overlook stuff like the difficulty, the game overall is just really enjoyable and really fun. It's pretty interesting actually seeing some of the positive reviews here. Now, most of them haven't played very far, but we have a pretty funny one here. The real monster is Capcom, because a $70 price tag is wild. Another positive review here from Metropolis says, Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm ready, but RE engine is definitely not ready though. That is the Resident Evil engine. Don't worry, even though it looks bad, at least it runs poorly. Trying to brute force the Resident Evil engine into open world games clearly just does not work. And I'm inclined to agree with this a little bit. It seems like this engine is just not the best when you're trying to make sprawling open worlds like this. Now, Monster Hunter Wilds is not exactly fully open world. I don't want you to misunderstand. It's semi-open world, I would say. Still, it's the biggest world they've made so far, aside from Dragon's Dogma 2, of course, I think.
So, real quick, before we get any further, as someone who's never actually played a Monster Hunter, but I've seen it, it looks fun, I know people that play it, I asked the people if that do play it, should I get it? And they were like, well, I mean, I guess you should probably start with Worlds first. So I don't know if that should be a thing I should do, or just wait for I mean, I guess while we wait for this, because I don't really want to spend $70 fucking dollars. Let's be real here. But like, I feel like that's something I should try, at least to get my toes wet or something like that, because it just doesn't seem like this would be worth it. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have like the beast PC. It's like mid-range, I would say, you know. But I mean, if this is the performance that people are getting, I don't think I want to do it. And there was a streamer that I was watching, not but like 4 to 5 minutes ago, that like the first hour and a half of his stream was him trying to get over 15 frames per second, bro. So it's like I don't know if I'd get it. But I'll see if there are any updates after this, and see what they plan on doing, if they say anything, that is.
Of course, Dragon's Dogma 2 is fully open world, but you can definitely see signs that the RE engine is just not the best in terms for optimizing for these kinds of worlds. And just scrolling through a lot of the reviews, or most of the recent reviews, most of them are negative, and most of them mention the performance here. So generally it seems like that is the main complaint. There is also another complaint here that I sort of agree with as well. I've never liked this part about Capcom's games whenever they release games. I had the same problem with Dragon's Dogma 2 when it launched, and I actually got a little pissed about it, and I actually complained about it or ranted about it in a video. And that is, if you have created a hunter that you're not super happy with and you want to re-edit their appearance, you get one single voucher to do that. You can change their appearance if you want to, if you're not happy. But if you want to change them again, if you're not super happy with what they look like in the cinematics and stuff like that, even after that, you will then have to pay for more vouchers in order to change your hunter. Now, this is nothing really new when it comes to Capcom. They've done this before. That doesn't mean that you should be...
But like, why though? That sounds like absolute dog shit. I mean, okay, I guess.
okay with it. I'm not big on paying money to just changing my character, like transmog my character. Most other games allow you to do that for free. Might
Yeah,
not
like,
seem much, but it kind of adds up if you do it several times because you can buy it more than once.
well, there's that, but also as someone who hasn't played, like man, fuck that. That's kind of ridiculous. Why would I have to pay? Like I mean, microtransactions. I mean, they've always sucked. It just seems like this is something that you should definitely not have to do at all. So the fact that they've done it before just really, that's ridiculous. Also, how much you want to bet someone bought the game, right, and then bought all of this too?
I think. Now, it has to be mentioned that this review score, the total review score, was actually at negative before, just a couple of hours ago, but now it's up to mixed, so people are leaving more positive reviews now because they get the game to work, and other people who don't have these technical issues and stuff like that, they're getting it to work. I also want to mention that if you are having trouble with the game, if you are having technical issues like crashing, if you're having crashes in specific as an issue, then I would highly suggest that you check your drivers, because that is something that I noticed. I hadn't installed the absolute latest driver that released on NVIDIA yesterday, which is version 57260, the GeForce driver here. So if you haven't installed that yet, I'd highly suggest that you update it as soon as possible, because that fixed my crashing issues. I had several crashes as I was playing the game, and when I installed the newest driver, it just stopped crashing. Not sure exactly what it is, if it's something to do with frame generation or whatever it might be, but it stopped crashing for me at least. And I suggest you check that out as soon as you can, or update your AMD drivers if you're using AMD. Just make sure you're up to date, because that seems to have fixed the issue for me. Or, well, it definitely did, because I haven't crashed in 15 hours since I installed it. Now, again, it's really impressive to see these kinds of numbers of players that are now playing Monster Hunter Wilds. I didn't expect it to close in on 1 million players almost online at the same time. That's pretty crazy. But then again, Monster Hunter is an amazing franchise. I just wish that this launch had been a little bit smoother, because I knew that people were going to have issues with the performance. Because if I wasn't able to push a 70 to 80 smooth FPS on my PC, being some monstrous kind of PC that it is, then most other people would probably have issues, and seemingly that seems to be the case. But that's going to be it for...
I've noticed that too, as well. Other people have also been saying that on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And, well, I guess, but then also I've seen people that they don't have monstrous rigs, and it also kind of works for them too, or at least they fixed everything before they started playing. One of the two. I'm not exactly sure, but what do you guys think? Follow this guy. I've seen his videos a couple times before. This is actually the first one I've watched and then reacted to. But y'all have a good one.